Okay, so hello everybody. So I just realized, and you can't hear me again. Okay, so we're gonna keep on this. Um, oh my god, I recorded for 10 minutes starting this tutorial, and it not only did I not have audio on, but I also wasn't live because I forgot to hit the go live button. So now we're live. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a rocket test stand for this beauty right here. This is my 1/50th scale, or 1/150th scale Starship model, and I'm going to be teaching you how to make a test stand for this, and I'll also be teaching you how to make a test stand for um, one of my other models over there. So let's, now that I'm actually live, let's go ahead and get started. So, as you can see, I am here in Fusion 360, and so this is what we are going to be using today. So, we are going to be making a very simple flame bucket style design. Um, it is going to look very similar to this right here, except instead of having two of those, have four of them, and it'll be a square instead of a rectangle. So, let's start off by hitting the create sketch button up in the top corner. This is like a beginner's guide, so if you haven't used Fusion 360 before and you would like to follow along, feel free to follow along. If you don't want to follow along and you just want to watch this, then that is perfectly fine with me. You can always come back and watch this later, yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So, we are going to create a sketch on the XY plane, which is this bottom plane over here. We are going to create a center rectangle, which is, you can either click this 2-point rectangle button and then go over here to this side menu and click center rectangle, or you can go down here and click this create drop down menu and then go to center rectangle right here. So, we are going to be making a 50mm by 50mm cube. Now, that may not be able to fit this, but we can always come back later and do resizing and scaling and stuff. So, yeah. So, after you have done that, you click the Finish Sketch button, and then you will click on this, which will select that sketch, this Extrude button up here in the top corner, and then you will want to either pull this arrow up or type 50mm into that thing. So, congratulations. If you've never used Fusion before, you've just created a cube. Applause to you. Congrats. Um, Okay, so next up will be the hollowing out of this cube. So what you want to do is create a sketch on this top plane, and what you're going to want to do is make another center rectangle and make it a 45 by 45mm rectangle. So once you have that, you can click this home button, click finish sketch, click on this sketch right here, hit the extrude button, and then type in, instead of just typing in 45, you would want to click the negative button and then 45, which will then cut into the shape, which will give you a hollowed out cube. Congratulations, you've completed step 2. Step 3 is creating the openings to allow the hot gases and the exhaust to actually come out of the flame diverter. Because right now it's not that much. So you're going to want to click on this wall right here. Click create another sketch. Click on the center rectangle button once again. Go to find the center of your rectangle, which will be shown by this X with a triangle. You can do that here too, and if you go here and you drag over, it will keep you on that line, and then both lines will then show that you created a center rectangle there. So here we are going to do a 40 by 40mm square. Make sure it is centered, and then hit enter. After you hit enter, you can finish sketch. and we will come back to that in just a moment. Now we're going to, on this wall, create another sketch um, of the exact same thing. So you're going to want to create a center rectangle and make sure that it is a 40 by 40 rectangle, not 50, 40 by 40 rectangle, and then hit enter. After you've done that, finish sketch again, and now you have two squares. Good job. Step 4 will be actually extruding and cutting into these walls. So what you're going to want to do is you can't do these both at the same time. So you have to click on each one of them, I believe. Yeah, you have to click on each one of them and pull the arrow just until it punches through both of those walls. Once it has punched through both of those walls, you can hit OK, and then you've created a opening. And again, you want to do the exact same thing on the other side. So grab that arrow and then pull through until it punches through both of those walls, and then come over here and hit the OK button. Please let me know if I'm going too fast. I am just kind of going at this point, so yeah, please let me know if I'm going too fast. Yeah. Okay, so now that you have this frame, now it is time to make the actual, to make it, like, look better. So what you're gonna do is, so right now, well, not only look better, but also make it more practical. So right now, you have these things right here. Now these aren't great. These are just pillars. They're gonna kind of get in the way, and they're not very fun. So what you want to do is you want to click on this line right here, and then you want to go to this modify tool and hit the chamfer button. Now what that will do is that will select that line, and it'll give you that arrow. So let's actually go ahead and come over to this menu right here. So you can see a couple things here. So you can hit this add selection set button, which basically, if I click on that, I can go to another line and select another line. In this case, click that button an additional 2 times or 3 times to add all of these corners to make a chamfer on each one of them. Now, what you will also see is this. Okay, don't know what that did. Oops, sorry. You want to. You can also just, instead of having to click that arrow, you can also just, or that plus every time, you can just click each edge individually and do that. So you will see the distance, which we will get to that value in a second. Now, under type, click on that option. You'll see 3 options. You'll see equal distance, to distance, and then distance and angle. For this scenario, we want to use equal distance, but to distance and angle may be used later on. So keep track of that. So once you have that done, you want to click equal distance, and yes, keep that checked. And then corner type, you have chamfer, millimeter, and then blend. You just want to stay on chamfer. So now, what happens when you do a chamfer? Here's what happens. So if I go home and I pull this arrow, I take this arrow and I just pull it out. As you can see, it creates a like a triangular shape geometry, which is exactly what you want. So as you can see, the more and more I pull this out, the more and more it pulls out. So you, I believe, want to make it, yes, make it 250, and then that will fill in that gap, and then hit OK. Once you've hit OK, then there you go. You've done that. So here's the thing. That is better, but it's still not the best. So what else do you want to do? So what you're going to do is you're going to come to this button right here called the fillet tool. And what you're going to do is you're going to select these lines on every single pillar. So select these two and these two and these two. There you go. Okay, so once you have those selected, what you're going to want to do So let's actually look at this fillet line, or the fillet types. So there is constant chord length, which is basically just, instead of measuring the radius, it's just measuring from when it starts curving to when it stops curving. And then asymmetric, which is you can determine how long the curve is, how far out the curve goes, and then how tall the curve is. So we are going to stay with constant again. And yeah, so we have rolling ball and then setback, so it blends those corners together. We are going to stay with rolling ball for now. So now it is the same kind of idea as a chamfer. You just want to push in that line until you get this right here. So as you can see if we do 3, you can see all these lines. It's really confusing. But as soon as you go to 4.5. Yes, okay. So as soon as you see this 4.5, it'll kind of do that, which is exactly what you want. So then you'll hit OK, and then that's it. You did it. Good job. Okay, so now all this looks like right now is just a very complicated looking structure. Now is the actual part for the flame diverters. So doing this in here, in this plane right here, would be super complicated and would take a long time. So what we're going to do is we are going to add a new sketch and create it on, again, the XY plane. And what we're going to do is we are going to create a square that is, as soon as I figure out the measurements I want to use, that will be a 45 by 45 millimeter square. So this one you don't have to use a center rectangle for, so just be aware of that. Now with that done, you are going to want to, I'm actually going to make it a center rectangle just because, in my opinion, it's a little easier. So center rectangle and then 45 by 45. Okay, so now that you do that, now you want to basically just make another cube. So you're gonna extend it up and make it 45. So right there. Okay. So now you have 45 by 45 cube. Perfect. Great. Amazing. You did it. Okay. So now what you're gonna do is a little bit more of a complicated set of series of events. So what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to take this sketch. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, so I think you're going to want to create a sketch, and then you are going to take this fine point spline tool right here, fine point spline. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the middle of the shape, and you're going to click on that. So that will just create a line, which in this case you don't want just a line because that's just going to create a triangle, and you don't really want that. You want it to go swoop, not down. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this right here if you did exactly what I did. Then you're going to then click on that, which that will then create and then hit this little checkbox icon right there. What that will do will create a curve that will be a lot easier for the hot gases to easily swoop out of. So you can create a bucket, but that is a little bit different from what we're doing. So then you can also do it like this, where you just do the exact same thing on the other side, but there is a lot easier of a tool to actually use. But you do have to have a construction line. Now I'm going to teach you what a construction line is. So first of all, you want to click on this line tool up here, and then come over here to line type. Under line type, you will see center line and construction line. You will want to click on this construction line, click on this center point here, and go all the way down. So then After you do that, you can do not click this finish sketch button. Just hit enter. After you hit enter, then you can hit this mirror tool right here. Hit the line that you want to mirror, select the mirror line select drop box thing, and then select this line, which will automatically mirror it to the exact same way you had it before and will be super easy and not too difficult. So once you have that, then you can finish sketch. And then that gives you that. Perfect. You have that. Now what do you do? Now you want to hold down the shift key on your keyboard and then click on both of these faces. Once you do that, you can let go of the shift key and then click the extrude button because we're going to cut into this shape. So you're going to grab that arrow again and pull it out until all of it is gone and all you have is this ramp. Good job. You did it. Is what I would say if you were actually done yet. Because I completely forgot a step. So you're going to hit the undo button if you just did that, which is Control Z on my keyboard. Now click on this face right here. Click Create New Sketch. And you want to do the exact same thing that you did on that other side. So let's start actually with the construction line. So go to the middle of this square and then go down, and then there we go. So then you're going to take the 5-point slide or spline, go to this point up here, click on this right here, and then click that, and then click the check mark box. Then you're going to click the mirror tool. You're going to click that line. Now, I just did realize this. This is a very important step. Before you create this, make sure that you click on that construction line again, because it, as you just saw, it will create a construction line arc, and you don't want that. So then you're going to, again, go to your mirror tool, click on this, don't click on this until you've selected the mirror line. And then you're going to click on that, and then click OK. And then perfect, you got it. Now, you're going to hit Finish Sketch, and then you're going to do exactly what you did before. Now, again, you can't extrude both of these faces at the same time since they're on a different plane. So, what you're going to do is you're going to cut that. There you go. Now, because of that, you can also click on, this will stay. You can click on this face and hit that extrude button for a second time, and then pull it right on through until you get all the way out, and then hit OK. And there you go. You've just made yourself a very weird looking triangular prism looking thing. That is what the diverter is going to look like. So yeah. Now, what are we supposed to do here? So, what you're going to do is you're going to take this object and click, so you're going to click this move/copy button right here, or click M on your keyboard. You want to then click on this bottom face right here. It is very important that you don't click on these curved spaces because of the way that the move tool works. It will try and move it in all sorts of different directions, so you just make sure that you click on that bottom face. After you do that, you want to move this over so go to the top view. Let me undo that. Click on this move/copy button, hit that bottom face, go back to the top, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to translate it over until it is smack dab center right in the middle of your square. So these corners should line up and those lines should line up. And then you got that. But you're not done yet, still. So what you want to do is you want to go to the front view and then click on this arrow right here and drag it up until these lines look like they're intersecting. Once you've done that, then you can click the OK button, and then you've just done that. So, now that is so that is your diverter. So as you can see, those lines will shoot it down. Now you could, in theory, create another ramp if you really wanted to, but for the purposes of this video, I will not be doing that. If you do want to do that on your own time, then be my guest. You can do that all you want. So, as of right now, this is the diverter. Now, it doesn't look like super, super, super like, you know, doesn't look too amazing of a design. Like, oh yeah, it's complex, but I mean, it's complex on the sense that it's not really that complex. Um, but what you want to do is you need to click on. I'm getting ahead of myself again. So now you have this. Beautiful. You created it. Good job. Congrats to you. There's a problem though. If you fire an engine on that thing right there, it's going to melt it completely. So here's what you're going to want to do. To start off, this section right here really isn't needed. We don't need this to be a fine point. So we could have gone, when we made these sketches, could have made a curve instead of it clicking like that, but it's easier to make a shape like that. So what you're going to want to do is you're literally just going to want to click on this right here, go to the right view, click on this shape, and then click the Create Sketch button again. Now, what you're going to do now is you're going to decide how far down do I want this to start. So I'm going to make this start, we're going to do right here. So once you find that spot, you are then going to move over here, and then you're going to create a square that goes like that. Once you do that, you're going to click Finish Sketch, hit that button. Not yet, because I just realized I messed something else up. Okay, so hold on. So instead of clicking this outer edge, click on this edge right here and hit Create Sketch. Once you have done that step, you then want to figure out where you want to start, which I want to start here, and then I'm going to create the rectangle. But instead of stopping on this line right here, go all the way up until you get to here. Because if you just stop at that line, it's not gonna do what you want it to do. So then you're going to click on these two, hold the shift key while you select those two, click the extrude button, and then cut into that just like so. That will not affect anything else except that. Now, if we had kept it on the outer edge, it still would have had that little triangle at the top, and it would have been a whole mess. So don't do that. Now what you want to do is, having a flat plane like this, it's not great. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to hold down the shift key and hit all 4 of these edges. After you do that, you're going to hit the fillet button, and you are going to just use that fillet button until it looks something like this. Now, you can also make it asymmetric if you really, really wanted to, but again, for the purposes of simplicity, I will not be doing that, and I will just use the normal fillet tool. So select all 4 edges, and then fillet, and then, whoa, what did that do? Oh yeah, that just did that. Okay. Make sure you don't do that, and then do 5, and then there you go. Okay, so good job. You created that little bump. Now, what is the bump for? So here's the thing. Again, if you fire this like this, it is going to melt. So what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to create another, you're going to want to hollow this out. Now, in order to hollow this out, it's going to, words. So I'm just going to show you. Okay, so shell. What we're going to do is we are going to select face or body. So we're going to select, since this is still a separate body from this right here, I can select this. And then what we're going to do is we are going to, I actually haven't used this tool before. So, well, I have used this tool before, but I don't really understand it a whole lot. So, shell type, shell. That's not, I don't think what I want. Yeah, so both. Whoa. Okay, well, don't do what I just did. So, maybe not the shell tool. But think what you can do is click on this body, and then click on copy, and then Control V, which is paste. And then what you want to do after or actually, don't do that. If you just did that, hit Control C or Control Z and stop doing that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hide this body right here. So all you see is this diverter. Now, once you do that, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to click on this move and copy tool once again. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that this is selected under bodies, not components, not faces, not sketch objects, bodies. Click on that body. Yeah, see what I mean? It's going to want to like try and shape that. So you want to, if you do accidentally do that, just hit the select pivot button, click on the bottom face, and then hit the check mark to mark that you're done. It won't be super important, but yes, it will be. I'm just kidding. You are going to want to make sure that you click this. This is really important. Click on this create copy button down here. Now pull this down about 2 millimeters. Once you've done that, yeah, 2 millimeters. Once you've done that, click OK. Now what it's going to have done is it's going to create another one of those bodies, which is kind of what you want, but also not really what you want, because you don't want them to be like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit the combine button. The target body is going to be this upper body, and then it'll automatically select the tool body icon, and then you go down here, you click on that, and now you see you have 3 options. You have operations, sorry. Join, cut, and intersect. Intersect is basically it deletes everything except only the parts in the bodies that are touching. So if I did that, that would create that shape. If I did combine, that would make that one piece. So that will make bodies 2 and bodies 3 one piece. Is that is not what we want. So the only option is cut. So what cut, as you can see here, cut will be hollowing out the inside of this. Once you have figured out what you want, you are going to click the OK button. And what that will do is that will cut that, and then there you go. So now it is semi-hollow on the inside with about a 2 or so millimeter wall. Now, what you're going to want to do is you are going to click on this button again, and there you go. So, that is your body right now. So, that's like that, and then that is like that. So, your next task is to make it so that the is to make it so that you can actually get water in there, because obviously you can't have a flame diverter like this and not have water, because that would be a kind of stupid thing. So what you're going to do is you are going to go down here, and still getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I'm so out of it. Okay. So as you can see here, the length of this, it'll be in the bottom corner. So let me actually go to OBS so I can move over here. Down in this bottom corner, it tells me exactly how much, or what the length of this side is. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab like a piece of paper or something, or just some paper that's lying around your desk, so you can write that number down. Now, once you have written that number down, which in this case will be 35 points, so 35.376 millimeters. So once you have done that, you are going to want to make sure that this body is showing again. You can deselect that object just by not clicking on anything. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to then hide body 2. Now, if you want to, I'm going to. You can rename these bodies. I would highly recommend you do. So body 2 is the diverter. That may not how you spell it. That may not be how you spell it. Whatever, but it's fine. And then you can do the frame. And then once you have that, you will know, so on and so forth. So you can, yeah. So make sure that the diverter is hidden. and go to the top view, click on this bottom plate down here, and then hit not extrude. And then hit the create sketch button again. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to again go to this rectangle tool, click on center rectangle, go to this origin here. Oh, probably should have mentioned this before. Make sure that when you are making this, make sure when you make that first center rectangle, the first 50 by 50 millimeter square, make sure you do it on the origin point, because that is going to make your life so much easier. So, what you're then going to want to do is you are going to take that number and you're going to type that into both sides. So 35.376, and then hit tab, and then 35.376, and do that. So that will give you a little square. So what you're going to want to do now is hit finish sketch, click on that face, extrude the face down about 2 or so. We'll do, in this case, we'll do 3 millimeters. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to click on this face, click on create sketch, and then you're going to want to create a circle. Let's say a 3 diameter circle just for this scenario. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to finish sketch, and then you're going to cut into this. So that will give you that, which is, that's not what you want. Yeah. So let me just do note, if you don't know where that inner line is going to end, I extruded it 3 millimeters. So what I'm going to want to do is create a circle that is right in the middle of that. So create a circle that will be 3 right there. Okay, so we're going to do a 2.5 millimeter circle. And then you can go ahead and delete that line right there. So then finish sketch, click on that circle again, hit extrude, and then extrude that out, and then hit OK. So now you get a circle. Good job. But how are you going to get any of the water in? So what we're going to do is you are going to want to keep it like that, because we're going to come back to that. So after you've done that, you can hit that button again, and that will have created a reservoir. So any water will come in here and will fill up this entire thing. Now make sure you fill it up beforehand, because if you don't, it's going to take a long time to fill up. But you also have to pay attention to how much you fill it up. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to click on this button here, and what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to create holes in multiple different areas. Now, the only reason you want to do this is to create the water boundary, whatever. So what you're going to want to do is create just a couple holes. Not super big holes, like couple, like not even a millimeter, like 0.5 or like 0.4 millimeters. So you're going to want to create a couple of those. Now, I could keep creating these for literally ever. That's going to take a long time. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to this rectangular pattern button, and you're going to click on this circle. So what you're going to do is currently, if I do this line here and I pull down, it's going to make 3 of these holes. That is very useful, but that doesn't seem like enough. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose the desired amount of holes. I'm going to do 10 in this case, and I'm going to just lay them about 9 millimeters is the distance that are negative 9 millimeters. So once you've done that, what you can also do is create a, is make more of them. So I could make 3 here, and then I could also make, but I could also click symmetry. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to make 5 or 6. We'll do 5, and then hit enter. So once you've done that, that'll create a symmetric thing, and that'll create a lot of those. So what you are going to have to do, which is kind of tedious, is once you finish that, you will click this extrude button, and then you're going to have to click every single one of these, which is not practical, but I mean, it's going to get you what you want. If you guys have used Fusion before and you have a better way of doing this, please let me know, because this is not really a great way to do this. Actually, I think I found a better way to do it, actually. Um, yeah, okay. That was a lot better of a way to do that. Okay, so once you've selected all your holes, then you can just very easily go to this corner here and just punch them all through, and then hit OK. So what that will do is that will create a whole bunch of holes on that actual diverter, to allow water to pass through and cool the thing. Now, the only thing that you do have to keep in mind is you don't want too many holes, because if you put too many of them, your fill rate is going to your fill rate won't be able to keep up with the amount of water that you're expelling at the same time. So, I'm going to keep it like this. I'm not going to actually move it much more. I am going to do the exact same thing here, so let me go ahead and do that really quickly if I can remember where I put this original one. So give me 2 minutes so I can figure out where I put it, which I believe I set it. I think I set it right here, and then I did 0.4. Yes, okay. So then again, rectangular pattern like that. Create 10, and then not on there. 5 on here, and then extrude it out, and then spacing, no, extend. And then do symmetrical, and then, yeah. So then once you've done that, I don't remember the spacing. And then this direction, you are going to also click on 3, and then do 10, and then extrude it all the way out. And then do 9, which those don't look exactly the same, and I'm not sure. Okay. I know why they're not the same. So this is another big thing. Make sure you don't click on the center point, because if you go into this rectangular pattern and click on the center point, it's only going to make that center point. It's going to only make copies of that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to click on the outer edge to make sure that you don't mess it up. So symmetry, and then look on this edge to make sure that I did it right. And then I think I did. I did. Okay, perfect. And then make sure that you do -9, and then do 10, and then enter. And then click on this button here, finish sketch, and then do that, and then extrude, and then cut all the way through. Perfect. Okay, and then once you've done that, then you have all those. So, perfect. You did it. Great job. Okay, so what you're going to want to do next is you have this. Perfect. You basically have your diverter. That's great. You did that. Problem though, where are you gonna put it? Because you can't just set the thing on top, because it's just gonna, like, fly off. So you have to create a mount or a hold down system. So if I take my beautiful rocket here, on the bottom of it there are a couple points. Now, I don't know the exact angle of all of these points. I could figure it out, and it actually probably wouldn't be too hard to figure out. So we're actually just going to do that. So what we're going to do is we are going to go over here, and click on Create Sketch. So then once you've done that, you're going to hit the top button and then make sure that you click on this downward view. So, and then you're going to want to create a box that is 48 by 48. So there you go. So that will create, again, don't do what I just did. Create a center rectangle and make sure you do it on one of these lines because it'll make your life so much easier. And then do 40, we're gonna, yeah, we'll do 48 by 48. So then once you have that, you're gonna again want to extrude it, but don't make it a cube. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're going to extrude it outwards, let's say 15 millimeters. So then you're gonna hit the OK button. There you go. So now what you're gonna wanna do is, once you have this, you are going to want to create the actual hole, which now thinking about this, 15 millimeters is a little excessive. So we're going to do like, we're going to cut this by 8. So it's like half of that width. There we go. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to hit this extrude button, not the extrude button, sorry, create sketch button, or because you have two options here. You can either hit the create sketch button, or you can hit this button right here, the whole button. And then you can hit reference, and then you can also just make it right there in the center, which is a lot easier than what I was about to do. So don't do what I did, and just make it easier for yourself. And then once you do that, make sure that it goes all the way through so that it cuts all the way through, and then you can hit the OK button. So once you've done that, great job. Now the plume can go somewhere. But again, don't really know where the thing is going to go. So what you're going to do is you are going to take the create sketch button, and you're going to want to create a circle that is a little bit more or a little bigger than this. So what you're going to want to do is create that circle, finish sketch, but that's it. Don't hit finish sketch yet. I keep getting ahead of myself. I'm so sorry, guys. What you're going to want to do in this scenario is you are going to want to create. So as you can see on the bottom of my ship, there are the three the 3 points. There's one here, right here. There's one right here, and then there's one over here. Now that is the one that we're going to be referencing because we want this one to be the side one. So in this scenario, it doesn't really matter orientation because it's a giant cube and it's the exact same on all 4 sides. So what we're going to do is we are going to click on down here, and you are going to want to create a center rectangle right here. Now, don't know the exact measurements of those, so we're going to do 1 by 2. Perfect, 1 by 2 millimeters. Now, once you do that, we're going to make it a lot easier. So, circular pattern, then you're going to select the object, which means that you have to click all 4 of these sides, and then center point, click on this here. So what that's going to do is it's going to already give you the option of 3, which will make your life so much easier. And then you click OK, and then there you go. You just got yourself, like, probably the easiest way to do that. So then you're going to hit Finish Sketch, and then what you're going to want to do is hit these 3 buttons right here. So click on these 3 squares. You're going to want to extrude them about 1.5 millimeters up. This is to say that you're going to use the exact same model that I am. And then what you're also going to want to do is this is where the chamfer is going to come in again. So what you're going to do is you're going to select all of these edges here. And once you have those selected, I may actually be wrong. Hold on. Okay, so I have a reference. So this is the hot staging ring from the V1 or the V2 booster that I have. So, oh wait, I am right. Okay, so click both of those edges, and what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to go back into this modify menu and click chamfer. Once you've clicked chamfer, go to the distance and angle. You can. In this case, we're going to do 2 distance. So what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to hit this left button, and make sure that this one. Okay, I guess not. Whatever. Okay. Well then, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to move over here until that is in line. There we go. Okay, and then you are going to want to do that. There we go. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to push it in a little bit, and then you're going to pull down, because as you can see here, there are the angle is weird, but there's a little bit of a flat top, so you want to do that. But it's actually easier to kind of do it from this angle so you can see. But you want to make sure that it goes all the way down until you can't see a secondary line. So this secondary line, you want it to be completely gone. So 1.5 millimeters. Then you're going to squish it in till about 3, maybe like that. Like squish it in like that, and then there you go. And then okay, and then perfect. So that's not exactly the same thing as what I have, but it's all right. It's fine. I can deal with it. This is just a reference to show you what we're gonna do. So, once you've done that, great job. You've created it. You can put it on. Perfect. You still can't hold it down though, which is still another problem that can be very easily solved. So, what you're gonna want to do is you are going to be creating a clamp that you're going to put on the inner edge that's going to clamp into the side. So what you're going to want to do is you are going to click on the let me just show you or let me just take a look. So here we go. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to create a new sketch on the. So if this is the XY, then this is the X. So XY, the X. This is XZ. Okay, so the YZ plane, you're going to want to create a new sketch. Now, once you've created that new sketch on the YZ plane, you're going to click on this line tool right here. So what you're going to do is you are going to you're going to make this 1 millimeters by 3 millimeters, and then another 1 millimeter. But don't make it a square, because what you're going to do is you're going to go all the way up here until you get to about here. So then after you do that, you're going to then make this a 45, or like about this angle. Once you do that, you're going to then create this 3 millimeters down, and then do 2 millimeters, and then that. And then zoom in to make sure you don't actually click that check mark. And then there you go. So that's your, not what I did. I did that wrong again. Hold on. Oh, okay. So what I forgot to do is don't make this a 45-degree angle. This is still going to be like that. What's going to be the weird angle is going to be this line here, because this line is going to go from here to probably here. So click that. So then once you slide that into the actual ship, it'll lock into place. Which again, I'm gonna make a more precise model and I'll upload it in the description so that you can or I'll upload it later as another video so you can watch this. But this is kind of just to give you ideas. So once you've done that, you can hit finish sketch, and then you can click extrude, and then you can make it like 2 millimeters, let's say. So then now, if you were going to grab this body and then move it into here, let's say that this was exactly where it was going to go, and it's going to go there. And then perfect, it's clamped. Except that's not yet what you want to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over here, and it's going to, so here's the problem. You have this, which is perfect. I mean, it's really good. But it's not exactly where you want it to be, because you want it to be flush up against there, but right now it would intersect, which is not that much of a problem because it doesn't actually have to go all the way in, so ignore what I'm saying. So, but yeah, but you can create as many of those as you want. I am just going to keep it there for now, and yeah. So now, what you're going to do is, okay, so I have that, but here's the problem. I don't want it to just be for the ship. I also want it to be for a booster. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this face here. You're going to click Create Sketch, and you are going to note how many squares or how many of these you can fit one of these in. So what we're going to do is we are going to go here. We're going to say that this entire square right here is how much we can use. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the line tool, you're going to click on this here, and then you're going to make this a trapezoidal shape. Perfect. And then just make sure that you do that bottom line too. And then you're going to, again, create a construction line right here. And then you're going to hit the mirror tool, click all of these edges, and then you're going to click on mirror line, and then click here, and then I'll mirror it on the exact same size, or the exact same side. And then once you do that, you can click Finish Sketch, and then there you go. So then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do that, and then do that. But here's the thing. I didn't think about this. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I'm usually so much better at this, but I'm like all over the place today. So what you're going to want to do is, since this is not 50 millimeters, which honestly, at this point, we're going to make it 50 millimeters because it doesn't need to be any smaller. So we're just going to do one on this side, extrude, one on this side, extrude one on this side, and then extrude one on this side, which will make it 50 millimeters and make our life so much easier. So then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to actually grab the move tool, but instead of having it free move, so click on this body, click on the point to point. So then you're going to click on this point in the corner, and then you're going to click on this point in the corner of here, which will then put it together, and then hit OK. So there'll still be two separate bodies, they'll just be moved over here. So what you're then going to want to do is you're going to then create a sketch here. So what you're going to do is, using the same knowledge that we had before, we are going to say that this square right here is all that we can use, and then again create that trapezoid. And then, which I guess we don't have to make it that like skinny at the bottom and small at the top, so we can kind of just make it like this. Yeah, that looks a bit better. And then again, make a construction line right here, going from the middle to there, and then hit OK, and then hit the mirror tool, and then click on that, click on not that point, click on there, and click on there, mirror line, and then the mirror line right there, which will then allow you to have this to be over here. Hit OK, and then finish sketch, and then you're going to hit the extrude button, and then you are going to select both, not that, select both of these trapezoids, which will then do that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to push it all the way through. Hooray, good job. You did it. So once you have done that, you can then make sure that it doesn't have to go all the way like that. There you go. And then perfect. So that will cut those slots into that. So what you're then going to want to do is go to this body again. This you can use free move for and just move it up like 3 millimeters. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create another sketch and then make that exact same trapezoid just on this here and a physical object instead of the cut. Now, I'm not going to do the whole construction line thing again, even though it's already there. I'm just going to create it on this side too, since it's easy. Once you've done that, you can hit Finish Sketch, and then you're going to select this trapezoid here, and then this trapezoid here, and then extrude that, and then extrude it by 50 millimeters. But since I'm over here, I'm going to do -50. So once you've done that, you can hit OK. That will join it to that. So then, there you go. So you can now slide on and off that plate, or that that pad. So good job. Congratulations. Now if you really want to make it different, or like make it so you don't accidentally slide it all the way off, you can go to the extrude, and instead of making it -50, you can make it 48 millimeters, or -48 millimeters. So then you can then go to this extrusion here, and then do the exact same thing, except that's on that side. So that's just great. Yeah, okay, hold on. So then you're going to want to create another sketch. If you didn't do it the exact same way I did it, and you can just easily do it, then be my guest, you can do that. And ignore this part, but I'm just going to create 2 lines here, which will then allow me to select this so I can add another piece. So do that, and then extrude, and then do -2 millimeters. That will then join that to that, which then gives you that stopping point, or the stopper. So that will be very useful if you don't want it to go all the way through. So yeah. So congratulations, you just created yourself a launch pad. Now with that hole down there, you can do literally whatever. You can print a nose hosel, or like a not a hose, like inlet that you can then like use heat and just put it on there, or create that in here to allow the water to fill up. But yeah, so I will be revising this design because this design is kind of just like, it's fine, but it's not perfect and exactly the way I want it. So I will be revising it. I will make a separate block for the booster and so on and so forth. Make sure that those pins actually work. But yeah, so yeah. Let me just zoom myself in bigger so you can see me. So thank you guys so much for watching this stream. I want to do more of these. I really like Fusion. I use Fusion a whole lot. So thank you guys for watching this stream. This is Matthew from Space Exploration. Peace, y'all.